That is so sick. Alright, so I got some more Arknights figures today. So first up here, we have one by Kotobukiya. It's of Scotty, 1/7 scale, Elite 2. And then on my other side, we got Exia, Elite 2, 1/7 scale. And then we also got Texas, Elite 2, 1/7 scale. These two are made by Good Small Arts Shanghai. Now with these three, I actually do have a total of 6 Arknights scale figures now, and they've all been pretty fantastic. Like, legitimately, I feel like the Arknights figures that I've been getting, none of them have been significantly like subpar. Everything has met like expectations, and that's pretty good, right? The other 3 Arknights figures, if you're curious, that I have, they're all made by Apex. I have the Elite 2 Skyfire, and the E1 Blaze, and the E1 Chen. And they're fantastic figures. So far, any Arknights figure that you could probably get right now, I would 100% recommend getting, except for like the Emon Toys Amiya. That one just does not look good. I don't know what they were thinking with that, but the face just looks really funky on that one. But yeah, I'd recommend any single one of these figures. I think Scotty would be like my least recommended figure, not to say that she's a bad figure or anything. She just looks, I don't want to say bad, what's the word? Lackluster, that's the word. Because if I compare her to any of the other Arknights figures that I have, right, like the Apex ones or even the Good Small Arts Shanghai ones, she looks good, but she doesn't look as good as the other ones, right? I think it has to do with the base, because legitimately the base makes it look really cheap. Right, let me take this off. Oh, another thing I like about her is that she can actually sit down. She doesn't even need the base, so if you don't like the base, you don't have to display it with it. But the E2 is kind of the whole point. It's got like this really shiny black plastic circle. Looks really cheap, and then the water effects don't really look that great either. It's also missing the whale from the E2. But then again, I don't blame Kotobukiya for that, because like, how would you incorporate like a giant whale into the background? That'd be sick though. The water effects don't look as good. Like if I take a look at Apex's Skyfire, very similar base design with a black base, even though that one looks a little bit more matte. Depending on what you like, that one might look cheaper than this one. I actually prefer the matte look over this glossy kind of shiny finish, but the fire effects for Skyfire look better than the water effects for Scotty's. So yeah, the base just makes it look really cheap. The figure itself though is pretty decent quality. I like the sculpt, the hair looks fantastic. With the Good Small Arts Shanghai figures, these are probably the best Arknights figures to date at the moment, right? So Texas, my favorite figure this year by far that I've gotten. There's nothing I can really complain about it. Like, I love the base with the swords and the rubble, the whole ice wolf thing in the back, and Texas herself, the details on the uniform, the nice little pins and badges that she's got. It's a fantastic figure. The design for Arknights really carries the figures in my opinion, because like the figures wouldn't look half as cool if the designs weren't as cool. By the way, if you haven't played Arknights, I'd highly recommend it. It's probably my favorite mobile game at the moment, and it has been ever since like the day it came out. I love the story, the characters, the character designs, and the music. Honestly, the music's so good that the company behind Arknights, people joke that it's like a music company and they just attached a game to it as a bonus. Texas, fantastic figure, one of my favorites this year. Exia is also a pretty good figure as well, her E2, fantastic. The only nitpicks I could probably say about Exia is her hair, number one. It doesn't look as like vibrant as the promotional pictures. If you really wanted like the bright, vibrant red hair color, in real life, it's more of a muted red, which is fine. It's just, you know, it's just something to notice. I would have preferred the brighter red, but that's just me. Another thing is, in the promotional pictures, she's standing up like really completely straight, but in IRL, at least for my unit anyways, this is the thing when complaining about figures or nitpicking about figures, you don't know if the problems that you have are quality control issues and like anybody else's other figures are completely fine and yours is just like the weird one. It doesn't really stand up straight. It kind of leans to the left. So yeah, that's a little bit of a nitpick. And then the last thing is probably the Unlimited Gunworks like holy ring prop thing in the background. It is very wobbly. So I feel like if you give this thing any decent momentum, it'll just pop straight off the base with the peg inside of it, which is a huge nightmare. Yeah, just be careful about that. I'm even moving it right now, and the peg, I can see the peg like wobbling with the prop, so it's a little bit of a But yeah, overall pretty fantastic here. I think assembly wise they're all pretty simple to put together, especially Texas. No two major complaints there. Scotty with the big water effect thing here in the back was a little bit hard to push in, but given enough force you can do it. Exia, she did have an issue with her fingers because when you're trying to put the gun inside of her hand, I've heard a couple of people who actually end up popping the fingers off, which is, you know, kind of scary. Luckily, I had a couple of people in the YouTube comments actually warn me beforehand before I even opened her up. So I actually took my time with putting the gun in. I didn't really have any issues. So just keep aware for that. But yeah, aside from that, they're all fantastic figures and I'd recommend you picking them up. We got a couple more Arknights figures in the works actually, and some of them are already out for pre-order right now. You can do that. So we got Shorts Elite 2 made by Alter. That's gonna be fantastic, but probably gonna be super expensive. We got Lapland, who actually is supposed to release this month, I think. Or by the time you're watching this, it's April, but she was slated for March. I didn't actually end up pre-ordering her. If you watched my pre-order video, I don't know why. I specifically remember me adding it to cart, but I guess I didn't go through with pre-ordering it. I'll try to get it on the aftermarket eventually. Lapland's also getting a figure of her skin, which is pretty sick. Shining's getting a figure as well. I don't know if that's up for pre-order yet. It's made by Fat Company. Unfortunately, I was actually super hyped for the Shining figure. It's just the hair color that they decided to go with. It's just really ugly looking. They went with like this really ugly yellow. Kind of looks like ramen noodles a little bit. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. We got Siege Elite 2. That's pretty good as well. Then we got Ifrit. Pretty sick. We got Surtur made by Mythos, and then we got Hoshiguma, who would be right here if she didn't get delayed till August. I'm super sad. And then we also got a Bagpipe figure coming out too. That's gonna be sick. So if you like Arknights figures, get subscribed because there's gonna be a lot of that on this channel. A couple of characters that need scale figures still, I think, are like Hoshiguma. I would love to have one as her, like her E2. That would be sick, or even her skin. That'd be dope. And then Saria needs a figure as well. Specifically one in this skin for me. Oh my god, that looks so sick. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, if you excuse me, the Maria Neural event is happening again, the rerun, and I gotta get back to grinding. So, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Huge thanks to my patrons Seswat, Beast, Catweiss, Ralku, Malhat, Hentia, Fritz, Ren, Wandering Kitsune, ZZZ, and Skablaz.